Bro, you've probably seen the same type of people going to the gym for years and years on end, but for some reason they still look like shit, and maybe this might be the situation you're in yourself. But it's alright, because I'm here to save you from spinning your wheels and looking the exact same month to month, year to year, and not actually getting the results that you really want. And when I talk about getting results, what do I actually mean? Well, we simply just have to sit here and ask ourselves, why did we want to go to the gym in the first place? There's one specific answer that takes the crown, and if you're not lying to yourself, it is to be attractive. It is to get the attraction from girls. And you're gonna sit here and say, well, some people just do it for themselves, bro, and some people actually just like to go. Well, yes, and sometimes that is true, but you just need to be honest with yourself, okay? Doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter who you are. The broccoli heads in high school are trying to increase their bench so they can get their gym crush and get their crush at school. The tradies in their mid-20s and 30s are trying to be more attractive and build up their guns so they can attract more girls at the pub and at the clubs. The middle-aged man who's just gone through a divorce, well, he's trying to get back in the dating market, so he has to become attractive. And yes, you can argue that people do this for self-enjoyment and to fix underlying health issues, but why would you want to fix underlying health issues in the first place? It's to be happy, it's to be healthy, and it's to be attractive. It all boils down to one thing, and that is attraction. And if you're failing to realize this and own up to this yourself, I know you're fucking lying, bro. Everyone likes to deny it, everyone likes to hide it, but the real reason why we're going to the gym is for girls, okay? Because if I fucking teleported you to the moon, imagine I sat right here and you suddenly got teleported to the moon when there was absolutely no one. Would you care about muscles? Would you care about building an attractive body and attractive physique if nobody could see it at all, if there was no way of getting gratification or results from it? Probably not. So that right there is enough to reveal that you want to do this for attraction. So if you're able to own up to this, well, then we have to structure our training and our gym routine around becoming attractive. And that's what so many guys are not actually doing. Guys are going to the gym doing random workouts that don't even make sense, and they look the same year on year because they're not actually progressing and they're not actually working towards their true authentic goal. And that's why I always champion to every single guy that he should be training for a universally attractive physique. Unless you have a specific goal of becoming a powerlifter or a professional IFBB pro bodybuilder, you should be training for what you want, which is attraction. So I don't understand why so many guys are going in and doing randomized workouts where they're not even training the correct muscles. They're doing random sets, random workouts that don't even get the needle moving into the positive direction, and they just end up looking like shit and stalling. What is the routine that we should be following? Well, I like to think of it as baking a cake. I use this analogy all the time. Imagine you're told to bake a cake in a limited amount of time and you have to present it to people at the end. You have two components of the cake, right? The cake and the icing. Would you rather present the cake with no icing or a bowl of icing with no fucking cake at all? Well, obviously the most universally accepted presentation would be to have the cake with no icing, okay? And that represents the bulk of your physique, the main focus of your physique, and becoming attractive and building muscle, building a foundation, okay? It's the 80% versus the 20%, the Pareto principle. The rule says that the 20% of the inputs that you commit to will result in 80% of the outputs. So if you stop fucking around and doing all this random shit and just focusing on the 20% of things, the main task that will give you most of the results, because think, if you present a cake with no icing, people are still going to be able to eat it. If you just focus on the majority of the needle moving tasks and needle moving exercises in our case, then that's how you're going to become successful, and that's how you're going to become the most attractive. Now, what are those exercises? Well, I like to call them the staple 6 movement patterns. It's a set of exercises that will build most of your physique. They consist of a vertical pull, a vertical push, a horizontal pull, a horizontal push, a hip hinge, and a hip flexion movement. And these are basically a bunch of compound exercises that when you focus on them in the gym, they are multi-joint exercises, so they will build you the most muscle, they are the most time efficient, and the most progressible and measurable over time. Because like I said, guys are going in there and doing the most random shit, not tracking, not knowing what they're doing, and they just build a half-baked physique, just like a half-baked cake. And the beauty of it is, when you build this cake, when you start doing the actual exercises that matter and not this random bullshit upside down neck cable curl shit, that is when you actually get the most of your results. And then you focus on the icing, and the icing in our case is optimizing for the female gaze, which is making us even more attractive. Because for most guys, building muscle and adding mass to their frame and becoming more strong and aesthetic overall will do most of the work. But if you want to go that extra mile, that's when we put the icing on top. And this is when we target the female gaze specific muscle groups, such as the shoulders, such as the lats, such as the forearms and the neck. And that's where most guys miss out on making progress, and that's why they look like shit. They're firstly not even doing the main things, but then they don't even know about the extra additional icing factors that will make them even more attractive. And that's exactly why I created Project Undeniable, which, quick plug, you can check in the link in the description. It will teach you everything you need to know about how to become attractive once and for all, and how to build this physique and lifestyle for yourself. Like I said, most guys don't even have a specific goal, so how the fuck can you actually know what to actually do and actually train with intention and work towards that consistently and with a high effort and intention? Well, you can't. It's like not even knowing where you're fucking going on the GPS but trying to drive somewhere. Well, you're not really going to be sure of yourself, and you're not going to do the right things, and you're not even going to get to the destination because you don't even have one. Okay, so the first step is we need to have that goal to build the female gaze physique, the truly universally attractive physique, and then we need to push hard in every single exercise we do, and that's why I advocate for simplicity, the staple 6 plus some other exercises in a simple workout routine where you can actually track if you're getting stronger or not, because that's what's going to dictate if we're actually gaining mass, if we're actually getting muscle, and in turn becoming more attractive. When we dial in our training and we make it simple, gym becomes a place of pure progress. The gym should be a competition. It should be a competition to try and beat yourself each and every workout. You want to do more and more than you did in the previous, whether it's adding strength, adding reps, adding weight, doing whatever you can to make progress. That's how we move the needle. I still am baffled to this day at why so many guys are overthinking things and overthinking rest times and specific rep ranges and all this shit. You don't really have to fucking do that. All those guys who think about that end up looking like shit. You just have to train hard and train like your head's gonna explode. Utilize the tomato face method where you're training to failure and you're actually pushing like you're fucking trying to actually make something happen, because your body doesn't really want to build muscle. Building muscle is not a natural task. That's why if you lose weight, you often lose muscle first if you're not focusing on sparing it. So if we're trying to build it, it's a hard task for our body. So the only way we're going to be able to do this is by training hard and training with true intent. So if training in the gym is like a fucking running race, stop worrying about what fucking shoes you have and if you've done the optimal stretches. No, just fucking run. Run as fast as you can, train hard, and that's how you get the most results. That's often why the guys who are just purely retarded and just go in the gym and just train heavy and train hard and grunt and lift up fucking heavy plates, they often have the best physiques because they're not chronic overthinkers. And one great tip that you can implement for yourself is to have a gym partner. When you have a good old gym bro with you, a guy who is equally motivated and has the same intent to build an attractive physique, you guys will push harder. It's simple as that. And you're gonna make even more progress as well, because becoming attractive and leveling up kinda just becomes your lifestyle. And when it comes to lifestyle, this is another huge point on why so many guys look like shit, because a huge part of our lifestyle in training, in becoming attractive, in leveling up as a man is going to be what we put in our body, our inputs, just like training, but more specifically our diet and our nutrition. And once again, I still cannot fathom at why so many fucking guys are just purely dumb and retarded. It's almost like they've been going to the gym for years and they don't even know anything. The extent to which their knowledge is so fucking small. It's like they're playing a game. It's like they've been playing a video game. Imagine if you look at somebody who's been playing, let's say like Call of Duty for like 3 years on end, but they don't even know the basic controls. You'd look at him and think, are you a fucking idiot? Like, are you stupid? And that's exactly how guys are treating their nutrition and treating their overall training. They've been doing it for so long. They're in this game, they're in this thing, but they have no idea. Most guys are still stuck at the level of knowledge where they think that they need to have protein powder 20 minutes after their workout or they're gonna fucking disintegrate, okay? I remember going into the gym all of the times, and the guys that always looked like shit, I'd watch them go to the change room straight after their workout, and there was this guy who used to have a fucking Ziploc bag of chocolate protein powder, and the second he dropped the weight, he'd walk over to the change room, put it in his drink bottle and drink it like it was some fucking magic potion, like it was gonna do all the work for him. But then you look at his training and it's shit, and the rest of his diet is shit, and his lifestyle is fucking shit. And what do you know? His physique is shit too. So it really shouldn't have to get to this point where the level of understanding has to be dumbed down so much, okay? Realistically, you just have to eat whole foods. I don't know why it's so hard for people to hit their protein and why they think they need all these magical solutions. You just need to eat more whole foods, eat more meat, eat more eggs, eat more good shit, and you will fuel your performance. And the way you're going to fuel your performance, for fuck's sake, is by eating carbohydrates as well. Too many guys are scared of carbs. Too many guys don't even know what the fuck a carbohydrate is. And honestly, they're just eating them in the completely wrong way. So I was talking to this guy from kickboxing the other day, and I was talking to him about the gym, and he asked me for advice, but he literally told me that his pre-workout nutrition was basically just a banana, and that's it. And he was complaining about how he was running out of energy like 20 minutes into the workout. And I said to him, like, holy fuck, all you're having is a fucking banana? That's like 20-30 grams of carbs. You should be aiming for 3 times that, 4 times that, okay? I would recommend you try and get like fucking over a gram of carbs per kilo of body weight. Like, my pre-workout meal is about 120 grams of carbs. I'll have a bunch of crumpet or a bunch of bread with like honey and fruit and all sorts of glucose and fructose, so it can actually fuel my performance, because it's that carbohydrate energy that's going to contribute to the glycogen in my muscles and allow me to push hard, okay? That's why even in kickboxing, I've only been doing it for a little bit of time, but I have a lot of carbs beforehand, and guys are commenting on why I'm not gassing out and how my stamina is so good. Well, it's not really that I'm trained, because I'm simply not. I just have carbs and I have the correct energy and I'm fueling my body properly. And so many guys go to the gym and they don't even fucking do this. Most guys don't even fucking eat carbs before the workout. They don't even eat fucking carbs after. They don't even hit their protein. It's just fucking retarded. Like, how does that even work? How can you have that level of knowledge when you've been doing something, when you've been training a skill for so long? It's like playing fucking soccer and not even knowing how to fucking kick it with your left foot. Like, this is an obvious skill you have to learn. What the fuck are you doing? So action step, dude, is literally just to include more carbs, and you will feel this difference straight away in your next workout, okay? Trust me. So once you tie those things in, you actually start training with a goal. You train for the attractive physique, the universally attractive physique. Then you actually optimize your lifestyle and you train hard towards it with intent and with a goal, and then you fuel yourself properly. Well, that's when you're going to actually get the results that you wanted in the first place. And it's the reason why most guys look like shit, because they don't even have one of 3 of these things ticked off. Now that you know this, go and implement it. Actually look at your training and look, am I actually training towards a goal that I actually want to achieve? Am I fueling myself correctly? And am I training hard like I actually want this? Stop treating it like a hobby. This should be your main concern, especially if you're a younger guy. This is the bread and butter of what you should be focused on in your life. And again, if you want the full roadmap, the full speed run solution on how to do this, how to become attractive, and how to package yourself once you build this physique, so again, you can actually achieve attraction, check the link in the description for my community. But with that being said, remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.